Good morning and welcome to The Knowing Show. I am your host, Christene Marie. Y'all, today we are moving through lesson 126 in A Course in Miracles. And as always, I'm going to start with just a review of some of the previous lessons, and then we will dive into today's. Lesson 91, miracles are seen in light. Lesson 92, miracles are seen in light, and light and strength are one. Lesson 93, light and joy and peace abide in me. Lesson 94, I am as God created me. Lesson 95, I am one self, united with my Creator. Lesson 96, salvation comes from my one self. Lesson 97, I am spirit. Lesson 98, I will accept my part in God's plan for salvation. Lesson 99, salvation is my only function here. Lesson 100, my part is essential to God's plan for salvation. Lesson 101, God's will for me is perfect happiness. Lesson 102, I share God's will for happiness for me. Lesson 103, God being love is also happiness. Lesson 104, I seek but what belongs to me in truth. Lesson 105, God's peace and joy are mine. Lesson 106, let me be still and listen to the truth. Lesson 107, truth will correct all errors in my mind. Lesson 108, to give and to receive are one in truth. Lesson 109, I rest in God. Lesson 110, I am as God created me. Lesson 121, forgiveness is the key to happiness. Lesson 122, forgiveness offers everything I want. Lesson 123, I thank my Father for his gifts to me. Lesson 124, let me remember I am one with God. In quiet, I receive God's word today. Lesson 125. And today's lesson, 126, all that I give is given to myself. Today's idea, completely alien to the ego and to the thinking of the world, is crucial to the thought's reversal that this course will bring about. If you believed this statement, then there would be no problem in complete forgiveness, certainty of goal, and sure direction. You would understand the means by which salvation comes to you and would not hesitate to use it now. Let us consider what you do believe in place of this idea. It seems to you that other people are apart from you, and able to behave in ways which have no bearing on your thoughts nor yours on theirs. Therefore, your attitudes have no effect on them, and their appeals for help are not in any way revealed to your own. You think further that they can sin without affecting your perception of yourself, while you can judge their sin and yet remain apart from condemnation and at peace. When you forgive a sin, there is no gain to you directly. You give charity to one unworthy, merely to point out that you are better, and on a higher plane than he whom you forgive. He has not earned your charitable tolerance, which you bestow on one unworthy of the gift, because his sins have lowered him beneath a true equality with you. He has no claim on your forgiveness. It holds out a gift to him, but hardly to yourself. Thus is forgiveness basically unsound, a charitable whim, benevolent, yet undeserved, a gift bestowed at times and other times withheld. Unmerited, withholding it is just, nor is it fair that you should suffer when it is withheld. The sin that you forgive is not your own. Someone apart from you committed it. And if you then are gracious unto him by giving him what he does not deserve, the gift is no more yours than was his sin. If this be true, forgiveness has no grounds on which to rest dependably and sure. It is an eccentricity in which you sometimes choose to give indulgently in undeserved reprieve. Yet it remains your right to let the sinner not escape the judgment payment for his sins. Thank you that the Lord in heaven would allow the world's salvation to depend on, or thank you, the Lord in heaven would allow the world's salvation to depend on this. Would not his care for you be small indeed if your salvation rested on a whim? You do not understand forgiveness. As you see it, it is but a check upon overt action without requiring correction in your mind. It cannot give you peace as you perceive it. It is not a means for your release from what you see in someone other than yourself. It has no power to restore your unity with Him to your awareness. It is not what God intended it to be for you. Not having given Him the gift He asks of you, you cannot recognize His gifts and think He has not given them to you. Yet would He ask you for a gift unless it was for you? Could He be satisfied with empty gestures and evaluate such petty gifts as worthy of His Son? Salvation is a better gift than this, and true forgiveness, as the means by which it is attained, must heal the mind that gives, for giving is receiving. What remains as unreceived has not been given, but what has been given must be received. Today we try to understand the truth that giver and receiver are the same. You will need help to make this meaningful because it is so alien to the thoughts to which you are accustomed. But the help you need is there. Give Him your faith today and ask Him that He share your practicing in truth today. And if you only catch a tiny glimpse of the release that lies in the idea we practice for today, this is the day of glory for the world. Give 15 minutes twice today to the attempt to understand today's idea. It is the thought by which forgiveness takes its proper place in your priorities. It is the thought that will release your mind from every bar to what forgiveness means and let you realize its worth to you. In silence, close your eyes upon the world and does not understand forgiveness, and let sanctuary in the quiet place where thoughts are changed and false beliefs laid by. Repeat today's idea and ask for help in understanding what it really means. Be willing to be taught. Be glad to hear the voice of truth and healing speak to you. And you will understand the words He speaks and recognize He speaks your words to you. As often as you can, remind yourself you have a goal today, an aim which makes this day of special value to yourself and to all your brothers. Do not let your mind forget this goal for long, but tell yourself, all that I give is given to myself. The help I need to learn that this is true is within me now, and I will trust in Him. Then spend a quiet moment opening your mind to His correction and His love. And what you hear of Him, you will believe, for what He gives will be received by you. Wow. I feel so convicted. I'm going to read one paragraph just once more. Y'all, this is so, so, so important. You know, it's so important that we consider what is our current relationship with forgiveness. What's our current understanding of it? And, you know, we talked the other day about word association. What is associated with the word forgiveness? Like, what immediately comes to your mind? And I think that that's really important for us to dig into, because that's going to either propel or prevent us from entering into forgiveness. I'm just going to read this. If this be true, okay, I'm going to go ahead and read more context. Thus is forgiveness basically unsound, a charitable whim, benevolent yet undeserved, a gift bestowed at times, at other times withheld, unmerited, and withholding it is just. Nor is it fair for you that you would suffer when it is withheld. The sin that you forgive is not your own. Someone apart from you committed it. And then if you then are gracious with Him by giving Him what He does not deserve, the gift is no more yours than was His sin. If this be true, forgiveness has no grounds on which to rest dependably and sure. It is an eccentricity in which you sometimes choose to give indulgently an undeserved reprieve, yet it remains your right to let the sinner not escape the justified repayment for his sin. Think you the Lord in heaven would allow the world's salvation to depend on this? Would not His care for you be so small, indeed, if your salvation rested on a whim? Y'all, it's so interesting. You know, I was just thinking about the fact, a child, if a child makes a mistake and they were to come to their parent, and every single time they came to their parent, they were like, are you going to forgive me? Are you still going to love me? And it's so interesting because obviously the parent-child relationship is very, very different than two adults being in relationship. Yet, man, what if we had that kind of relationship with each other as siblings, as partners, as even coworkers, where the truth could be spoken, true repentance would be offered, and forgiveness was never something that was questioned. And this is where the importance of understanding forgiveness is really critical, because forgiveness is not the nullification of justice. It really, really isn't. And for so long as we have that association of, like, frankly, if I forgive, I abdicate justice, then that's not ever going to be good. And we're never going to even allow ourselves to fully enter into forgiveness, because justice is just as important. And also, forgiveness isn't weakness. It's not turning a blind eye. It's not having no boundaries. We did a whole mini series on love about probably a month ago. And we talked about, love, similar to forgiveness, is not turning a blind eye. It's not letting people off the hook. It doesn't mean that justice is not served. But for so much of the time, we have never seen modeled forgiveness and love and boundaries and justice. Usually it's one or the other. And so what does this type of forgiveness, what does the God-like type of forgiveness look like and feel like? And what do the actions associated with that type of forgiveness, what does that look like? And so I really love, how she encourages us to listen to God. She's like, take 15 minutes twice today to just sit in quietness and listen for God to be our teacher. Y'all, that's what we need. We need God to be our teacher. And I think that it's so much easier to just outsource and look to somebody to teach us what to think. But man, if we're really, really willing, and we're willing to sit and listen, God really does have stuff to say to us. And he wants to be our teacher. He wants to come in and potentially even redefine words that have previously held meaning that just aren't true. 2 years ago, I felt like God told me I want to redefine marriage for you, because marriage in my mind actually held a lot of pain. And so the thought of getting together again and getting married again was just a terrifying thought. And so, God, what is your vision for marriage? What is your vision for parenting? What is your vision for even being a child with parents still living? What does it look like for each one of the roles in our life? And a lot of times we're living and walking in these roles that we find ourselves in on a very subconscious level. But what would it look like for me to really take a stand in each role and be my optimal self in that? What does it look like for me to be an amazing daughter to two amazing parents? I don't want to live subconsciously for so long as they are alive. I don't want to take those relationships for granted. I don't want to wait until it's too late to be grateful. Same thing with my siblings. I was going to bed last night and thinking of my eldest sister, and I was just like, wow, she is incredible. I don't know if she knows that, and I don't know if I tell her that enough. And same goes, I've got 5 siblings. What does it look like to live with intention, not just as a sister, but as a sister to my sister Jen, to my brother Jared? What does it look like to live with that type of intentionality in each regard? And then me as a business owner, me as an entrepreneur, me as a partner, there's all these different roles that each one of us embodies and each one of us holds. And this is also, man, if we're going to get super meta with this, how then are we going to, what would we want our legacy to be in each relationship? If we were to die tomorrow, what would we want each person to say about us? And are we living in accordance with that being able to be true for us? The other day we were on this show and this woman asks, how do you want to be remembered? And I went to the end of my life and I'm like, okay, well, this is how I want to be remembered. She was like, but how do you want to be remembered right here, right now, today by the barista? And I was like, oh, what an interesting question. I've never thought about that. That type of question means that my action right here, right now needs to change. And so it's a high standard, it's a high calling, but here's the thing, it's our own standard that we're now living by. It's not us living for everybody else, but it's instead me before God, who was I created to be, and then holding that level of standard for myself so that I can, at the end of my life, but also at the end of the day, look back and be proud of who I was. But y'all, if we don't know the standard to which we're going to hold ourselves, it's impossible. It's impossible for us to be able to close our eyes at the end of the day and feel really proud. Did we do what we were supposed to do? Were we honorable? Did we toe the line in terms of our own standard and our own potential? No one else can come in and say what our potential is. We ourselves get to, whether we're in a room full of A students and we're holding ourselves higher to try to match that, or we're in a room of C students and we know our own potential is A. That's sometimes the hardest, is when we actually are in a room where it's easier to get, we kind of get to skate by and nobody would really notice that we're not walking in the fullness of who we could be. And so what would it look like for that level of accountability that we hold for ourselves? Yes, community is wonderful and community is so important, but are we ourselves holding us to a high standard based on who we were created to be, our unique gifts, what we're called to do, and then applying that for every single role in our life? Because then we get to start living with intention. I'm just going to jump over here in the chat. How you doing? Good morning. I love that. I love your handle. Baca, good morning. Lambert, good morning. Kevin, the gray tone. I'm glad to see you. Lambert, yes, we were reading A Course in Miracles. No, I did not write that. I didn't write that book. I have another book that's going to be coming out, but this isn't mine. Salty first, good morning. Sean Ryan, good morning. Tim Channel, Terrence, let's see. WWG, good morning. Yami, good morning. Darren, good morning. Good day to you. Lambert, good morning. Great tone. I'm so grateful for you. He says, she'll read your comments out loud soon. Feel free to ask questions. Yes, please do. Please feel free to ask questions. Good morning to you again from Scotland. I'm so glad to see you. I'm so glad you did. Comic Flick Fusion, good morning. He says, remember, chat, we don't live forever. It's a blessing to have critical moments to make something beautiful that can last forever when we are gone. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, I love that. Darren, good morning. I'm so glad everyone's here. Nika, good morning. I'm glad you're here. Exec. Love is a faculty of the soul via the will. So forgiveness has to be, by its nature, part of how we love. So as St. Thomas Aquinas says, love always wills the good of the other. That is so beautifully stated. Exec, I'm so glad you're here. Arvant, good morning. Code, good morning. Good to see you. Rob Vine, good morning. Sean, good morning. I don't really know what you're talking about. Rob Vine, do you have any plans for today? Yes, I'm actually going to go be with my client all day, so it's gonna be a busy day. Cause Wisdom. I actually normally will not be wearing glasses on the evening shows. So normally I wear my glasses for the first 2 hours of the morning. Howard, good morning. Soul Searching, good morning. Glad to see you. Y'all, I am pulling up my calendar because I need to schedule trivia for this afternoon. And let's see here. Realistically, I think we'll be doing trivia around, we'll do trivia around 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern today. So let me go ahead and actually put that on the calendar. So we'll do that for an hour starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I hope you guys will join me. And then we will have a wonderful evening tonight, and then I'll be back online again tomorrow morning. Soul Searching says, I always feel blessed during the day after you're live. That is So encouraging. You have no idea. Thank you for saying that. Sender V, good morning. I'm glad you're here. The Great Tone, what's your favorite coffee? I will always drink black coffee in the morning, and I actually typically will drink decaf, which I know people are like, oh my gosh, but I'll drink like organic black decaf coffee in the morning, and I'll do French press. It's kind of a fun little routine for me in the mornings. I was told by this doctor, she was like, one of the most important things you can do is drink organic coffee. She was like, if the way that they process beans is actually really, really bad for you if they don't do it organically, which I thought was, or if they don't grow them organically. I thought that that was super interesting. So what's your favorite kind of coffee? This is a fun question. What's everyone's go-to coffee order? During the day, after I've eaten, I'll have like a latte with light honey syrup and cinnamon, and that's really nice. Rob Vine says, I've been off this week. I have returned shortly, but I'm going to the gym, swimming, and playing football with my bros. Oh, how fun. I actually bought, he says, do you like swimming? I bought goggles and like a nose plug because I wanted to start swimming routinely, and I still haven't done it. I actually found a saltwater pool by me, and so I want to start going. So I would love to start doing that again. Rob Vine, you encouraged me and inspired me. I need to go find my stuff and then start to swim again. Green tea is my coffee. Nika, I think that that's probably way more healthy for you than coffee. So good for you. Comic Flick. Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you man, y'all are being encouraging this morning. Thank you. It was funny. I woke up feeling tired this morning, and it was a good reminder for me, the why we do everything we do. Why do I come on here every morning and do this show? Why do we forgive? Why do we pursue hearing the voice of God? Why do we engage with those that we love? Having that why and crystallizing it for every single activity, especially if it's a habit, gives that extra motivation and incentive to do the thing well. Honestly, I woke up this morning and I wasn't feeling very well. I still kind of have like a headache in the back of my mind. And I changed my perspective this morning, because at first when I woke up, I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to go back to bed. And within 10 minutes, I was like, good morning, God. Like, thank you for this beautiful day. And it really was so helpful to just have that perspective shift. We get to choose the attitude and the manner with which we approach the day. It is our choice every time. And when we remember why we get to do this, why I'm doing this show, this is first, and frankly, this is important. I actually am doing this because I honor the book that we're reading. It really is so helpful for me personally. And this really is, the Knowing Show in general is part of this bigger mission of, man, I really feel called. I feel called, and I get to participate in this glorious mission of all of us becoming more aware and more awake and living more fully and loving well and becoming emotionally healthy. And that one person can change a family, and that person can change a business, and one person can change a community. So if all of us are those one people, we can really truly see real change in the world, across the world. Exec is in Scotland. And so what an incredible opportunity that we all have every morning to gather and hear from each other from around the world and grow together. And I want to just encourage all of us as we move through the day. And Exec, I'm actually going to read the quote again that you shared. Love is a faculty of the soul via the will. So forgiveness has to be, by its nature, part of how we love. So as Thomas Aquinas says, love always wills the good of the other. So may we all walk in love today. It's a high and beautiful call, and so fulfilling. I need to go celebrate Holy Mass, but you are definitely anointed in ministry. Wow. I'm gonna save that. That's so encouraging. Thank you. Fun fact: Robusta bean has 2x the amount of caffeine than Arabic. Oh, interesting. Try bourbon blue. You'll awake for days. That's so funny. All right. Maybe I'll try that. Nagesh, hello. Good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. You're a new subscriber. Come join our family. Valna, good morning. I'm glad to see you. Y'all, thank you so much for joining. I will be back on today at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. On Wednesdays, we play trivia, which is, I think it's so fun. And, you learn random things. It's fun. So we're going to be playing 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. So come join us, and I'll be seeing you later today. Tomorrow morning, we'll be back on again at 9 a.m. Eastern for another Course in Miracles. I will talk to you all soon. And thank you all again just for being encouraging. I think I needed that little extra boost. And remember, y'all, we get to choose. We get to choose how we approach the entire day. I'm going to go spend 15 to 20 minutes just listening and honestly asking God to teach me about forgiveness, because I think I know I could use it. So, Javier, good morning. Yvonne, Brudo, good morning. Gray Tone, goodbye. Thank you. It's good to see you. Marty, good morning. Have a wonderful day, y'all.